22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned in to Black Westchester Presents, the People Before Politics radio show, episode 343. This is Health and Wellness Sunday. Before I go, let me do a little self-promotions. Yes. So make sure you check those out. My partner is here, Damon K. Jones. What's going on, sir?
Yo, what's up?
Yes. This is Health and Wellness Sunday. Got a good show for you. First part, we have the lovely Brenda L. Crump. She will be doing a review of the Black VegFest that she attended yesterday in Brooklyn. She's going to tell us all about it. And the second part, I have my cousin of mine, David Moffett. He is a prostate cancer survivor and advocate. He's been doing lots of press, trying to bring about awareness in prostate cancer. Very proud of what he's doing. So he will be on, and maybe one or two of people in his support group. We're going to have a conversation, very important conversation about the importance of prostate cancer and us being, getting checked, because that's something we don't talk about. It's something that I know men, especially black men, don't like to get done, to test for that, but it's something you need to do. What's going on, Damon?
Not much, man. Same old, brother. Just living. I'm just living.
We're going to get right into the show and bring on our first guest, Brenda L. Crump, and the L stands for lovely. Hey.
And Hey, what's happening, Brenda?
So
nothing much.
I know that you were going to this event. It was yesterday in Brooklyn. You went with your mom. It was the Black VegFest. For those who don't know, what is the VegFest? What's the Black VegFest? What is that?
Okay, well, Black VegFest, this was my first time attending, and I actually found out about it through Jeff Monroe's Facebook page. Mm-hmm. So basically the Black VegFest is about Black health and awareness, because in our community we have so many diseases of heart and high blood pressure, cholesterol. It's about learning a healthier lifestyle and of eating and exercising. getting proper rest, because there was a speaker who talked about proper rest, that you can eat all the healthy food and you can do exercise, but if you also don't get proper rest, you know, that impacts your body and the mind as well. And so it's about reaching out to the community, because it's a open, free, public community event about health and awareness. So it's not just about vegans, so people or vegetables. It's not just about that, but it's a holistic. It's about farming and organic farming and so forth. So it's a lot of information. A lot of stuff was there. A lot of presenters. So basically, that's what it's about. Hopefully, we will have the founder of this event on, and he'll be able to give more detail.
What is his name?
Okay. Now, the pronunciation, I'm not 100% sure. So if I mess it up, Omowale, and I'll probably mess that up. So forgive me.
He is in the green room, but I need him to turn on his camera and his microphone, and we can put him on the screen.
Okay, can he hear you? Does he know that? No?
He should be able, if you're in the green room, you should be able to hear me, yes. But until he turns on his microphone and his camera, I can't put him on yet.
And so the event is for, you know, everyone of all ages, of all race, religion, ethnicity, everything. There's no exclusion for it. It's about love and welcoming everybody. I felt so welcome my first time being there. Everybody was so friendly, so kind and polite, and it was just great. I had an excellent time, and so did my mom.
Absolutely, great. Absolutely. Okay, now here's Mike. He's on. We will bring him on the camp. How you doing, sir?
Peace. How you doing, brother? Thank you very much.
Thank you
for inviting me. Brenda, appreciate it being on. AJ. Thank you.
Yes. Now.
And please pronounce your name for us, because I'll box it up.
That's what I was going to say. Please pronounce your name. I'm good for messing up names, so that's why I had her do it.
I am Omowale. Adewale.
Okay.
Omowale. Did I say it right? Omowale?
Yeah. Omowale. And Omowale is that is Malcolm's name too. So that's Omowale. Omowale.
So tell us about the Black VegFest, how it got started, what made you decide to do this. I know it was an all-day festival. So tell us a little bit about that. Educate us about that.
Sure, definitely. So we had this idea in 2014, and my team organizing for a while knew that sometimes we have in the community, we just have this impetus to just get this information out, but it delayed me to do this 2018. And so in 2018, we wanted to make sure that when we talk about veganism, that we understood the history of veganism, that we understood also that Black folks have been vegan for a very long time. We just don't know about them, just like so many other things that are in our culture, and we're still investigating our culture. We are still on the hunt for understanding our culture and who we are as a people. So that needs to be understood. And there's so many things that we're still understanding and learning. And also, I've been speaking at vegan festivals since 2012 around this planet. And what happens, we're not actually, in those conversations. And when I'm invited, or when I'm saying, hey, I want to speak at this particular space, Black folks are not the speakers. We're going there. Like, my mom was taking me to vegan events, for decades. International African Arts Festival actually had, vegan folks there within its 50-year history. We probably don't even know that. But we go back. I remember speaking in the Hudson Valley, and the sister was, she was doing a vegan mock meat for over 3 decades by the time I had met up with her. So we have this particular history. So I wanted to make sure that we also talk about food sovereignty in the realest way possible, which is connected to land sovereignty. We're talking about, Black liberation. In order to talk about that, we have to talk about owning our food, owning our resources, and understanding that when Dick Gregory talked about this, he talked about this. I think people should also look at his background as well, and it would be introduced to so many other folks in our community who are taking food head on, and so I wanted to talk about Black farming, and I also wanted other folks to come in who had a wide variety, depth of history, of Black history that I wasn't even privy to. So we want to make sure that they come into this particular festival, and we focused on Black people. We have a hard time of doing that and saying that, hey, we're going to talk about us. You know, that is not something that other communities have.
Right. You know, so just a little background. This is the reason we started the Black Westchester, to tell our stories and all of that. And my partner, Damon K. Jones, also co-founder and the publisher of Black Westchester, is a health and wellness coach. And he got a lot into that. He wrote a couple of books. And when Brenda suggested that you come on, I definitely wanted to connect you two. Because, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to let Damon take over from here.
Brother, you know what, man, brother, thank you for creating a community for people that are vegan and that could actually gain knowledge. You know, I definitely appreciate that, because in my process of studying, eating healthy, eating clean, I noticed that Black faces wasn't in the place, you know, and when we have these discussions about eating healthy, we do not see Black people in these spaces, right? Because when a lot of people talk veganism, they see, like the white hippie person, and stuff like that. But we have to we have to change the narrative, to let people know that, like being vegan is not just a diet, it's a lifestyle, a spirituality, is what we are connected to. And I think we don't have these conversations, and mainstream media refuses to have the conversations, even with all of the health disparities that they talk about, right? They don't talk about, how to combat that with eating clean and being a vegan.
Right.
So what have you seen in your activism in dealing with the mainstream, because that to have something that you have had and the work that you're doing, I perceive there are pushback, some type of pushback.
Of course, definitely. But they try a myriad of ways. They'll come in, I've had conversations with folks on the corporate level. Just think of some of the largest billion-dollar businesses that are out there. Even if they're vegan, just think about the biggest vegan organization that you know of. Mm-hmm. That we try to we're gonna first, let's see if we can give them things. We give them things, and then let's see how we can co-opt it that way.
Right.
That don't work. Let's try to ignore them. You block them out, in the media. They're gonna try all types of things.
Right.
However, what I found in the vegan in the vegan community, the first thing is compassion. Mm-hmm. The first thing is compassion. So if you have folks, all it means is you might have a higher level in that particular community to communicate with them.
Right.
And what I mean by that is you got to challenge them on their compassion. Now, you said you're compassionate.
Right.
What you leaving out, not human animals. So you saying that you're going to skip over your own species and you're going to jump to cows and pigs and bees? We're saying that we understand that bees we're only able to flourish on this planet because of bees. As soon as they're gone, we're going next.
Right.
Bees do not need us for anything. The very notion that we're going to put them in some boxes and try to save the bees is the craziest thing ever in my life. Or we're going to save the planet. No, as soon as we're gone, the planet is going to flourish.
Right.
So when we explain and we challenge people, because it's a challenge space, and anytime we talk about organizing activism, you must challenge your brother, your sister, okay, and bring them on that playing field. That is the plateau. That is it. That's what Malcolm X did. He was challenged. He also had to take his own criticism, and he had to build with Dr. King. Period. So, and this is what activism is supposed to do. It's not supposed to be there. It's not all loving and so on and so forth. No, we have to get to the root. We have to make sure that we strengthen it. We do it with love. That's why our event was spread love, and that's why Brenda came there, and then was met with love. We have that in our community. Sometimes that allows us to be very naive, and that's why we can get co-opted so often. And that's why we feel like we got to address every single person. No, we do not. We do not. We can, you could come, but we are going to be focused on Black people.
Right. And that's what Black Westchester is about too. I wanted to bring something up real quick. Brenda, and she's not the only one, but several other people have contacted me lately. So we live in the city of Mount Vernon. And in the city of Mount Vernon, we have all these health situations more than any other place in Westchester County, heart disease, diabetes, and all that. So they have all these festivals and things for us to attend that the city throws, but they don't have healthy options for people like Brenda. She has to bring her own food for her to be able to eat there. Damon has often gone to things and been like, I'm not going to be able to eat nothing there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're not, even in our community, we're not considering that, and we're talking about building our communities. And I'm working on it. Thanks to these two, I'm working on my health a little bit. I'm a work in progress, but I'm working on it. But we don't help our communities be healthy, and you can't grow without you can't have a healthy community without our health. You see what I'm saying? Even our Black leaders are not pushing this. You know what I'm saying? Right. I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to definitely.
No, we don't push that because we think that it's something else. I went to an event in NYC at a particular time that we were already, the folks of color were already, Black and brown folks were already the majority, here in New York City. And I was the only Black person that was speaking there. That's a problem. We look at those like those are accolades. No, that is a problem. And those are issues. We're talking about dozens, of speakers. And then, so they'll do that. And then, but what we'll do is be like, well, that's what their thing is. No, we are the ones, we cultivated the land here. We actually removed, the land. We're the reason why folks are growing food here after indigenous people. After indigenous people were wiped out, there was no land. There was no land to be cultivated. They weren't doing this. This whole myth of, they created, they planted, they did hard work is the biggest myth out here. We did that work.
Right.
We did all of that work. How's the same people going to go to another? Say again.
They build their wealth on our labor, on our
of course
free labor.
We forget this all the time.
Yeah.
We forget this all the time. But we are the ones who cultivated. We talking about watermelon. We talking about black eyed peas. What we did with it was the reason why they utilized watermelons because that is a very huge, difficult crop. And it's very bountiful. You were talking about being able to feed our people so well. You have to raise it off the ground. I mean, just so much that has to go into, just cultivating that crop. The greens that we had, we did all of that work. And we had to know the know-how to say, what, they got us. We got to put these seeds in our hair. We got to braid these seeds, in our hair. I can't even tell you all of the seeds, because some of the seeds we can't even get. We don't even understand how important particular seeds are, because when they're lost if the human mind can't find them. So they will be gone, right? So we have this depth of knowledge and the fact that when we started to grow, they made sure that when they made sure that they took our land, when they gave it back to us for like a year or two, we flourished in a year or two. It's the most incredible story of Black farmers because they're still surviving right now, and and farmers are under attack. We got less than 1.5% of land. You show me what liberation is. We have 1.5% of land, for all of Black people.
That's right.
We got 13% of the population. White folks have over 95% of the land. You are still captive. They just giving you some change. You buying some things. We still performing. So we just have to, when we say for the culture, we have to actually do that for the culture, for ourselves. We entertaining ourselves, but they will pay too much money. The price point is way high, for them. It's very simple. It's all connected to our food and to our land. It's very simple. It's nothing to get complicated about it. We don't have the Black farmers doing owning the land so we can feed ourselves. There's no food supply. There's no food resources. There's no such thing, food desert. If you don't have food sovereignty, you do not have any food. You have no access to food. If you have food sovereignty, you don't have any. If you don't have land sovereignty, you don't even have food. So that has been what I've been doing for a long time, but it's not just me. There are folks like Karen Washington, there's folks like Leah Penniman, but there's also folks, Soul Fire Farm. There's Black farms that's here. There's Black Farmers United just within our state, New York State. There's Northeast Farmers of Color. There's a lot of farmers, and that's our farm, Liberation Farm in Sullivan County. And we're working hard to make sure we keep our property, keep our land, and be able to teach this richness, because one of the things that's happening everywhere in the world, and I mean every single place in the world, farmers are the most important thing. It's the most populated labor that we have, but it's the most crucial thing that you have. If you don't protect your particular land and your food growth, you are dead as a people. It is just not possible to sustain. It'll be based on someone else's plans for you. It's really that simple.
Damon, I know you probably have some more questions.
What has been the response from since we're in New York and you talk about Black farming in New York? I think that's very unique. But what has been the response from Black elected officials? Because I hear them talking about saving everything else, but not Black farmers here in New York. I hear them advocating for a lot of the things that some of the things really literally make no sense, but they're not advocating for the Black farmers, and that can grow fresh food for Black people. So what has your response as an activist, even in that circle, even in the agriculture and discussing the point of Black farmers, what was the response of these Black elected officials in New York?
Let me tell you, it's very short because there's so many different issues that we're addressing. You know how it is when you're like addressing all these different issues. You got this. We got so many fires to put out. All we got to do is, is protect the farmers. All you got to do is protect the farmers. But we're gonna step it up. But there's only so much small groups of folks can do. Right. It's only so much. And some of the folks that I said to you are the key folk, are very key folks. These are key folks, and most of them happen to be Black women. We don't even know that are leading and doing it. It's not just Black women. That's not what I'm saying. But we leave them out of the equation so often. But they're literally the ones that I'm on their shoulders. And I mean, right now, they're living right now. And it says some of their names. And so, but they just needed to focus on farming. Yeah, we're going to talk about, police containment, police brutality, those issues, housing issues. But housing issues is based on land. It's based on land. It's based on food. That's why there's no food sovereignty without land sovereignty. I don't want to bring up any of the elected officials. I can't bring up any that are working at. There's even some that's doing something in terms of veganism, but to focus on veganism, and I wanted to make that clear. Excuse me.
Yes.
And I wanted to make that clear that we're not going to be just talking about vegan. Yeah, I'm vegan. I don't have to be more vegan than I am. Yeah, I'm vegan, but it literally means nothing if I understand Black people. Like this. There's some Black folks who happen to be vegan and think that is enough. That is not enough. We have to be centered as Black people to just for our, first our survival, but we want to actually flourish. We want to actually flourish so we can do, great works. But there are no elected officials. I have no answers, for you in terms of that. Maybe it escapes me, but it is not like, the folks that I work with, and I'm talking about coalition. These are when I talk about NEFOC, Northeast Farmers of Color, they are working on that. Black Farmers United. I'm talking about also Black Farmers Fund, support Black Farmers Fund. The Black Farmer Fund literally assisting us, literally assisting so many other Black farmers. Now there's folks that's around here. Durian, I wish I could grab his name, doing great work. Doing phenomenal work. There's just not enough Black farmers that are out here. They're just not, and that's the problem, because the Black farmers are the ones who are working on the land. They're working on, and I'm not talking about working and tilling the land. I'm talking about they're working on getting Black folks land. Right. Literally getting right to the question. Getting right to the question. Getting right to it and getting the food and bringing the food to we don't even have enough. So what we've done at Black VegFest, when we're reaching out to thousands of folks who are coming to our festival, we got the people. So we connected to the people. However, we still there needs to be all these different connectors. We need to be working together in such a way, but also remember, and Malcolm would always be saying it, understand that folks are working against you. So when we talk, that's one of the things we're not going to put down other folks, because we folks are working against you, all of the time, every single time. And it's tired, and it's tired. It's so, it's tiring. It's very tiring. It's very tiring, so we want to sit on the bench.
I believe.
Yeah. Now, Brenda, as going to this the first time, I want you to speak about the event and what it meant to you, and what you got from the event. Brenda, are you frozen?
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
We might have to come back to her. My brother, this is such an important conversation. Again, I didn't know you existed. You may not have known Black Westchester existed, which is the problem. We have these pockets of us everywhere doing these things, but we're not connected, or we haven't been able to connect. And hopefully through shows like this, and what we do, we're trying to connect our audience.
Well,
okay, there goes
going
Brenda.
for the first.
Go ahead, Brenda. I think she has a delay.
Yeah, she has a delay.
Yeah, we're gonna
you were stolen and put to one county. I was stolen and I was put in another county.
Right. Absolutely.
That was the design.
Yeah. And I'm trying to connect a lot of us, because there's a lot of us out there doing this. And Damon preaches us a lot. We talk about how to have successful neighborhoods, how to build up our communities. But one of the conversations, even amongst ourselves, is not about our health and wellness, and not about our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brenda is, hold on, she just logged back on. Can you hear now? Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear now? Okay. Now you got something going on. We got an echo from you. You have two things on.
Yeah, trying to put things together here.
Okay.
All
What
right.
I was asking you, as someone who you went to this event for the first time, you know, as part of the Black Westchester family, I wanted you to talk about why this event was important, what you got out of this event.
Okay.
And you have to turn something down. You have two things on. We have feedback. You have two things on.
I know, technology, trying to turn one off. Okay, so going to the event, I was excited about it. One, because as you brought up about different community events, that there aren't anything in reference to food there that's for me. And so just going to a place that's talking about vegan, and not just vegan, because people get frightened with the word vegan, but just having a whole food plant-based, just talking about healthy eating and not just eating. I was excited to see all the vendors, because they not only talking about food, but down to skin care, hair care, even clothes, you know, but that's not made from animal byproducts. So it was just very exciting. It was so much space, and they even gave out you know, nice little gift bags. Every time you go somewhere, you get a nice little gift bag. But they had T-shirts and sweatshirts. But here's a gift bag. You know, I got sweatshirts and I got T-shirts, and just the workshops. You know, talking about, and they even had a workshop talking about weed. So this guy was dressed up looking like weed, which I found kind of funny. But talking about the holisticness of food, the healthiness, the organic of food and of the products that we use, because you know, anytime we put anything on our skin, it goes into our body. So when we put things on our skin that's full of chemicals, that also goes into our body, into our bloodstream. So I was just excited about the space. Just the grounds were just open, and the presenters that they had. So it wasn't, once again, I don't want us to be focusing on just the food, because it was about the presenters and the things that they were presenting, the vendors as well, and the things that they were offering. So it was, I was excited, and I'm looking forward to next year and to possibly, you know, share the news earlier and to bring other people with me. I'm looking forward to attending next year's. And I also want to make a point about, because sometimes we tend to scare people away with the word vegan. And as the brother said about, people you eat fruits, you eat vegan. You eat vegetables, you eat vegan. You eat beans, peas, lentils, seeds. You know, you eat pastas, you eat vegan. So it's just the word. It's just a matter sometimes of swapping out certain ingredients. So you eat mashed potatoes. It's just potatoes and milk. Some people put milk, so you swap out the animal-based milk for plant milk, plant-based butter, you know, if you want to put butter in it. So people are eating vegan. You eat salad, you eating vegan. So that puts too much emphasis on the word vegan instead of being whole food plant-based, eating more healthier choices. I love the festival. The music was great. And you could just, you know, bring your blanket, bring your lawn chairs, bring your pillows. And I had all that out there. I had my mom out there. My mom, you know, she loved it. She did some walking and dancing and eating and drinking. It just wore her out. And actually, you know, I was worn. I was tired too. I just really felt free. You know, when I got there and the music going and the energy and everything, I just like was, wow. You just got you going. Just got me going. I loved it. I loved it.
Let me ask my brother real quick. So you do this every year. It's annual in Brooklyn? It's annual once a year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you work with others? Like, say someone in another region, like say Westchester County, wanted to put this and didn't know how to start this. Could they connect with you and talk about how to put one of these on or something like that? Or
Oh, definitely. You know, all the time. There's always somebody in our community. This is outside of the country. This is, you know, California. But we have to make sure that they center Black folks. And that is the problem that we have. Black folks don't feel powerful enough to center Black folks, and so they got to make sure that everybody feeling comfortable and all of this. We the only ones that's doing that.
Exactly.
We are the ones that's doing that.
And that's why we started Black Westchester. We actually get that. You know, one of the things they'd be like, oh, you can reach more people if you take the word Black out of the title.
Right.
No, this is specifically an online African-American news magazine and newspaper. And
that's all you need.
Now others are welcome to check it out and be a part of it, but we didn't have anything geared to us. And
right.
That's why Damon and I started this, to gear this to us. And, you know, they always try to get us to expand and, you know, reach different audiences and, you know.
Right. And I wanted to mention because I forget this all the time, you know, in Chicago in 1958, Dr. Elvania Fulton is the little Black woman. She was the one that created, like, she was trying to do all of the things all of the same time. You know, a vegan health food store that was a vegan health food store. She was trying to cure folks. It was a supermarket. It was, listen, I'm only talking about maybe a quarter of the things that this thing was. It was just like everything. Just you have to Google her, Dr. Elvania Fulton. She is the one that educated Dick Gregory and got Dick Gregory to become the vegan that he is. He was trying to do that. We're talking about the 30s now. Mm-hmm. She go back. You know, it was only maybe in the 50s did she start actually, you know, getting on TV and some of the Black shows, you know, at that time when you could do such a thing like that on with like on national air and focus on us. That's pretty much, you know, going. But Dr. Elvania Fulton, I discuss her in my book, An Introduction to Veganism and Agricultural Globalism, but only in the in the 2022 version. So,
Damon.
No, I'm sitting here Googling sister's name right now.
Oh, okay. I wanted you to give some of these questions because I know this is right up your alley. So I know you.
My brother is hitting all cylinders, and actually, you know, giving the listeners of understanding of how veganism is not foreign to Black people. Like we are stuck on this American this slave food understanding, you know, and the real soul food is being a vegan, you know. That's the true soul food. And if we could just get around that understanding but you know, anything healthy, the oppressor wants it to be foreign. You know, this is why they market veganism and they market clean eating. That is a white person thing. Like it's not a black person thing. And I'm glad that, you know, we're having this conversation on Black Westchester because, you know, we have to begin to change that narrative. You know, like brother, and I know you noticed it, you know, throughout the whole pandemic, when they really started saying how Black people were dying at a higher rate of COVID, nobody talked about nutrition. Nobody talked about changing eating habits, right? You know, nobody talked about that. I was locked in, so I was watching the news to find out what's going on, but nobody was discussing nutrition and how Black people can reduce the chronic illness and sometimes eliminate it just by changing our diet and eating healthy and getting off meat and dairy and poultry and fish. So, you know, like we have to really try to create our spaces, and I'm so happy, brother, to hear that you're doing it out there and trying to and I looked up the Black farmers of New York and and AJ, we got to send them an email and see if they could come on too.
Absolutely.
To discuss, what they're going through also as an organization and dealing with it, because I think we have to address this on a political level too. If Black lives matter, Black farm and Black land should matter, right? Because, without that, it's going to hard for us to have Black lives if we don't have the foundation of civilization, which is land. So I'm just enjoying your conversation, man, and I'm glad that you came on. I really appreciate it.
I wanna now, you mentioned something, Damon, and we hit about it a little bit. We try to educate our audience as much as possible. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not political, but everything is politics. You know what I'm saying? We have all these elected officials, like we got a primary coming up now, and we got major elections next year. We need to be, what can our people do? What do we need to be asking our elected officials and these candidates who want our vote? What should we be asking for? What should we be pushing up on them for?
Is that a question? That's for me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, as far
okay.
As yes.
So thank you. I appreciate that question. $4 billion was allocated to Black farmers. You know why we didn't get that money? But let me also say, the reason why it was allocated, and $4 billion is such a paltry number to begin with. Mm-hmm. And somebody saying it right now. So the USDA has been robbing Black farmers from the get. The U.S. has been, they're going to put it off on an agency. The United States of America has been robbing Black farmers from the very beginning, robbing Black folks, first, but hold on a second, Black farmers for so long. Obama, the only thing that he was able to do, he already said that he messed up with reparations. That was a big part on his legacy. So we understand that. But he earmarked for $4 billion. It just got into so when this current president, said, okay, we doing $4 billion. We got the House, we got the Senate. Let's go ahead and put the $4 billion. Do you know what happened? White farmers said, hold on a second, we're being discriminated against. It is the most egregious thing that has happened in our modern history. That's that right. White folks are talking about. White farmers in particular are saying that they were discriminated against. That money was there, like $4 billion. We should be talking about $4 trillion at least. We talking about a measly $4 billion. You know how much money that folks are, and this is what I try to really speak on, was that all over the world, they have to fund farmers because they're the folks who are growing the food. And it has to be farmers in terms of, families, small families, not major farmers. Because when you talk about major farmers and corporations, that's totally different. Those are totally different. So it's because that's when you talk about the reason why we have high fructose corn syrup and you have subsidies for that. Those farmers get to subsidize their land and they get the money from their insurance and they get the money from USDA. Listen, you don't understand how much we being played, on a consistent basis. So that money that's supposed to be earmarked for us, right? It's supposed to go to Black farmers. This is money. First, many of the farmers don't even know and don't even have the guidance to even understand how to be activists. We don't even understand that.
Right.
But they know that they're being treated wrong. And just because people are not able to articulate themselves in the manner that many times that I can, doesn't mean that they're not 100% right all the time. And that's when most of the time you're going to have farmers all over the world. They don't get to go to school. They don't get to do this and so on and so forth. They tilling the land. They're doing the most important thing for their particular land. And anywhere in the world you go, the government is already set up to make sure they protect their farmers. We are being last on the list. So anytime we even talk about we even close to liberation, it's the craziest notion that we ever speak. because we don't address the land. We don't address that land. We don't address the land question. We get whatever we gonna get. It's as simple as that. So there's $4 billion that's there. White folks sued, basically. White farmers have sued because of discriminating. So it's being held up in court. So farmers who have been trying to hold on, they can't get the resources. The only thing that they've been able to do, the USDA, under this administration, however, is now they can't be foreclosed on. So they can't even pay for these things like tractors. You know how much it costs to get a tractor to move the, a tractor costs you, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to do that type of work. You can get a smaller one, but it depends on how much land you have. It depends on, there's so much work that has to go into it. So when I say that we be doing the bottom of the work, we be doing the hardest work at the highest levels, and the toughest with the least amount of resources, right. It's daily.
Right. I try to educate our people about the power of our vote, but we don't act. Every other group of people, the candidates have to go see them to see what their agenda is, what their concerns are, what are the things that they want, and to get for them to get their vote. We just right. vote, and then we ask for stuff after we voted the person in. They already got the vote. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand, like, if you want our vote, we need these. This is what we need. You know what I'm saying? And we're not doing that enough. And we trying to educate our people about that. And
that's not the only thing. I'm sorry to cut you, brother.
Yeah.
It's a circus because you can just sue it.
Right.
Even if I'm telling you
right.
that the president had already allocated the $4 billion. I don't believe that he's going to hold that money. He's not holding that money.
Right.
The House and the Senate. So even if you got the House and the Senate, understand the system. Right. I worked in New York State Assembly for a while. Even if you have the House and the Senate, right, on the national level, and you have the president, white farmers are just suing to hold up the entire process.
Yeah, exactly.
So say it takes 8 years. Right. You get where I'm going?
Right.
Say it takes 4 years, takes whatever amount of time, or 6 years to get the Senate out, right? So you out of the seat now. Okay, now it's back to Republicans. They just playing you.
Right.
What can we do? Well, you got to get, and excuse my language, you got to get Negroes who got this money and stop putting them out there. Stop supporting that. Don't support none of this, whatever. They selling sneakers. They selling t-shirts. They selling whatever. I'm not even talking about folks on Fifth Avenue. Definitely forget that. You know what I'm saying? And any of their stuff, we need to be boycotting their stuff. But we need to start with us, because at least with us, man, we got to have some sense to be like, man, you need to be doing this. Don't be talking. Stop having these celebrities communicate. They're not leaders. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Tell them to give the money up, just like, Aretha Franklin just gave the money up. They ain't coming here to talking about what they were talking about. Harry Belafonte just gave the money up. Nina Simone knew what she was saying, but gave the money up. Just get these folks to just get the money up, man. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Let me ask you for like people in their individual communities. I know there's people trying to start more garden and community gardens, like in the Black neighborhoods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speak on more of that, like little things we can do ourselves for our community. Since
yes.
the political system is what it is. The importance of growing your own vegetables and fruits in your backyard or in a community garden. Talk about that, like how.
Yes, that's occupying space. Don't think that you're small. That's occupying space. That's taking over that space, and that's taken for your family. That's getting that information, out there to folks as well. But you are now taking control over your own land, and you. We would. My partner Nadia did an incredible job in terms of organizing the Liberation Farm children workshop, yesterday. She couldn't do it. She was a little sick, but had this beautiful brother, Brandon Morton, who, he teaches us this stuff like on levels. You just got to listen to younger folks a lot of time. mushrooms, I'm talking about whether we're talking about fungi, we're talking about plants, just does it in a very palatable way and help the babies. And every single one was just interested in terms of growing their food. You could do this on your windowsill. You can do this and just start getting the children to do these simple things, just a little bit of light coming in, and just start growing the food. So now they in touch with growing. They're teaching this to other folks around the world. They're doing this around the planet, and I think they really take it for granted, because when we get it, it's like, oh, we ain't have it. We start moving on it, So that's what just on the windowsill. You don't even have to have access to whatever, but start there, and then you need to go to the farm. And we got to come up to our farm. I invite y'all, to come up to Liberation Farm, because of course we're doing more than growing food. You understand what I'm saying? So so we train it on growing food, but we don't just start there. But you could also start wherever you are. You just start growing. You get some good dirt. You get some. Make sure you get the right amount of. Get some soil. You can't get anything in New York City because it's contaminated. Look at, it's contaminated. You just can't. But you could put pressure on. I think it's called Green NYC now. It used to be Green Thumb, and you could get them to go get some soil and get a group of folks. There's a process for gardening, and that should be, I think that's in every single city. I just know a little bit of the process for New York City. You can go ahead and get your garden, maybe 20, 30 signatures to take over a particular land. It has to be run by HPD. You find out how it is, who owns it, and that information is always accessible. You can go to the Department of Buildings, you go to HPD and find out exactly who owns it, and then you go to your community board, and then you make sure you let them know. You bring the signatures there, and it's a 1, 2, 3, process. You now owning that. Problem we have sometimes is, at least in New York City, when you owning, when you're like, and I want to take, say, owning, I'm kind of being loosely with the word. You go into some of these gardens and they act like they really owning it, instead of sharing it, with the community and the group. More hands make light work. And then the vegetables, the fruit, the vegetables that you could grow, they're gonna feed way more people than you can even imagine with the acreage with the land they're gonna have. They're not gonna have an acre. 200 square feet. We were able to grow so much just within our greenhouse of 200 square feet. So much, of course you could get them to grow bigger and do all this stuff. But to be honest, I would make them, whatever it says, give them 6 inches, wide. Yeah, they're gonna give them more space to grow. You could bring them a little closer. You can grow so much for so many folks. The biggest myth that we don't have enough food to go around in the world, that we have to make it with this fake GMO stuff. I talk about GMOs in my book, quite a bit, that you have to make GMOs. That is a myth. You could feed the folks, around the planet so many times. You just keep going, and they will feed the folks there, So the idea that you need to go ahead and get meat, especially processed meat. When I talk to folks about meat, they don't even know that the cows are shot up with hormones. Whatever you eat, whatever animal you eat, it's the United States of America. They shooting that animal up, and it's going to balloon up. Guarantee you, it's worse than anything that's going to be a plant, and you're going to be more harmed than any particular plant you're going to go ahead and find. That's right. So it's a simple process. I don't want to complicate it for folks, because it's simpler than anything.
Let me ask you before you go though. You have a book. Talk about your book, where everybody can get it, and also how people can follow you and what you're doing, website, social media, how people get in touch with you if they have questions on how they can do some of this, stuff in their community, etc.
The best place to go to is liberationfarm.org. So people are not going all over the place, but Liberation Farm. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but Instagram had killed our page so many times. Liberation Farm, it's now Liberation Farm NYS. So you can go to Instagram, but liberationfarm.org.
Facebook has killed our Black Westchester newspaper page 3 times.
I believe it.
Three
you
times.
put black in it because you put black in it.
3 times. 3 times, yeah.
And support our GoFundMe, because it's not enough to just, people don't understand, like, every single person who discusses liberation, and when you talk about Black folks, anytime it's for Black people and it's 100% for Black folks, it's work. People would think that Harriet Tubman wanted to get accolades. She don't care about that $20 bill. She don't care about no statue. Of course, that's for people later on to want to know. But Fannie Lou Hamer, they don't care what Malcolm X, what they cared about. Are we gonna follow? Are we gonna learn from them? Are we gonna get that information? Are we gonna? But also, a lot of times we don't want to have to ask folks for money. You got to support the movement.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, how many sneaker things gonna come out, or shirts or fashion, or folks gonna be talking about, hey, support this and so on and support this. Definitely support our GoFundMe. It's the easiest and simplest thing and the most impactful thing you're gonna possibly have. I'm saying that. Black VegFest was free. Meanwhile, a lot of vegan festivals are now charging, and they will get so many folks inside there. It doesn't mean that these other vegan festivals are doing light work. They doing great work. And I want to say, I'll give a shout out to Vegan Soul Fest in Baltimore. They're doing exceptional work, over there. We're going to be there next week. But definitely do that. And then, because NEFOC will not let us, you better make sure folks go ahead and support y'all. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they go ahead and support it, because Black Farmer Fund is not just supporting us, financially for us to put the burden on them. No, got to put that out to folks and let them know, go ahead and support those folks who are supporting you. All these revolutionaries, all these liberation folks were supporting you when you were sleeping, when you were resting, when you were doing whatever personal thing that you wanted to do. And I know that y'all doing that work, as well. So when folks are doing that particular work, support them. That's the easiest thing you could do. I don't care if it's $5, but always go higher.
Right. I preach the same thing every day. Your book, you didn't say the name of your book and where it's available.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible at it. An Introduction to Veganism. That's Sister got it. An Introduction to Veganism and Agricultural Globalism. That's a 2022 version, because the 2015 I wanted to rush that out there and I self-published it. So I'm glad that my publisher, they have to be able to support Black. If white folks ever going to support anything that I'm doing, just make sure you support that. As soon as I talk about it and you support, that's the way I know. That's right. When I know. And only then is when I know that you are actually an ally. You might not be invited ever to a barbecue, because I don't have to. However, and that's how we understand who is supporting us. Because when folks who support animals, they don't be asking animals to have a conversation with animals, whether, hey, we're going to be cool, we're going to be so on and so forth. I have to make sure that, I'll put that out there and make that clear. But when they did it, they did a phenomenal job on editing, on my book, and doing it exactly how I wanted it, and making sure it was unapologetically Black. So that is the version you want to make sure you get. Folks wanted to get the self-published version another time with the mistakes in it, hey, but get this one right there, because it was done well.
I thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted Brenda to come on and talk for about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Thank you, God.
About the event, and she brought you on, and automatically I'm making moves in background. I got my next guest. I told them to come on at 6:40 something, and I'm texting them, we're gonna have to push you back to 7. Cause I can see this was gonna be a bigger conversation. I think my brother David, he's in the background watching. You know what I'm saying? For his patience, he threw the thumbs up, the peace sign. I definitely want. I'm asking Brenda to connect us because I want to be able to support what you do, and I want us to be connected. You know what I'm saying? So we can report some of the stuff you got going on, and
absolutely,
and that kind of stuff, and we definitely want to bring you back. We're having more of these health and wellness type of shows, and you know what I'm saying, and I know you have a wealth of knowledge. Definitely come on and speak about the various things. So I definitely want bring you on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to do this just a one-off. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping this is the building of a relationship where we move on together. So Brenda, any last words?
Thank you.
Am I muted now?
You're unmuted, yes, because you have background noise. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Hope there's not background noise now. I have absolutely nothing on. But I want to go with what Damon said about nobody saying anything during the pandemic. There were doctors, there were medical professionals who were saying things, but a lot of them were threatened in reference for their license about speaking against COVID and about healthy eating and using food versus the drugs that were being used. And one doctor, namely, was Dr. Baxter Montgomery in Texas, and that's the doctor that my husband went to when he was ill. They went on different like YouTube instead of Facebook, and was doing live streams and talking about the different eating right and healthy and exercise and the benefits of that versus the medications that were given and the drugs that was being put forth and hadn't been tried and tested through the proper channels. So there were people out there, but they don't have the money, as the brother has said about corporate, to where you can hear their voices. You're not going to see their commercials. You're not going to see them in magazines and on TV and so forth. But there were people out there, just like there are people out here now. So only thing I can say to our people before we go off is that you have to make a change somewhere. If you have heart conditions, if you have diabetes, if you have cholesterol, if you have high blood pressure, any kind of those medical illnesses, they can be cured. My husband had high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart issues, everything. When we went to Dr. Baxter Montgomery, my husband turned his diet around. He did a 180-degree turn. He said, I don't want to live on medication, and they're not opening up my heart, because they had told my husband he had to have open heart surgery. He said, no way. He changed his diet in 2018, January. He stopped eating meat, fish, poultry, eggs, milk, cheese, butter, all animal byproducts. And he never looked back. He got off of all of his medications. Everything went well. Right now, I care for my mom who has dementia. And my only regret is that I didn't get her sooner. Mm-hmm. We didn't realize what was going on. But my mom came with high blood pressure, cholesterol, stomach problems, all kinds of medication, and she was anemic. Took my mother to the doctor just Thursday for a follow-up visit. None of that stuff. She's off of all medications. Everything is regulated and normal. Food, let thy food be thy medicine, is a true statement, is a true thing. And I have living proof through my husband, through my mother. Thank God that I am healthy, and I'm working on prevention. I'm working on staying healthy. I don't want to wait until I get sick to get better. As people always say, stay ready so that when you need to be ready, you don't have to get ready. Come on, Black folks, we have to get healthy. The choice is up to you. It lies in your hands. Got to start somewhere.
I thank both of y'all for coming on. I appreciate it, brother. I want to build with you much more. Definitely, like I said, and I want you to reach out to us if you ever got something you want to talk about. If you ever got something that you want to write, you know what I'm saying, for the paper to speak to our people, whatever, or the website. Please, utilize us. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for. With that, we're gonna go into our next guest and play this little video.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrian.
Look forward to building with you. Yes. You are now tuned into the People Before Politics radio show, brought to you by the good folks at
Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper.
talk for the community since 2014. Welcome back to the second half of the show. You're tuned into Black Westchester Presents, the People Before Politics radio show. This is episode 343. We're celebrating our 8-year anniversary, and this is Health and Wellness Sunday. Before we go further, I just want to say there was a comment that I definitely want to get to. I had heart surgery. I got Brother Damon's book. My brother Derek, 265 pounds, 3 pounds. I am now 203 pounds. So
God bless. God bless.
And I've heard other people have said that they have not eaten meat since they got Damon's book, and they're so much healthier. Now we're moving into the segment of something, we don't talk a lot about. We don't like to go to the doctor about prostate cancer. My cousin, this is my cousin, my godbrother, David Moffett. He's a survivor. He had it. He survived it. Now he is a big advocate on bringing awareness to this. And I wanted to bring him on the show. We've been talking about him coming on the show for a while. So now we finally had the opportunity. Welcome, cuz, to the show.
Good afternoon. Well, I should say good evening. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And I definitely wanted to connect you with my brother Damon too.
Let me. You gotta give applause, man. I forgot to do that for the first guest, man.
No doubt. Now, I know you have I made a mistake in the description a little bit. I said August is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. It's actually September. So we're a little early. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. So we need to speak about it now so everybody get checked out in September. I know you got a walk coming up. First, talk about what happened with you. Share your stories first, and then I know you have another brother you want to bring in, but share your story first.
Yeah, absolutely. But I wanted to say every month should be Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. We should be talking about it every month. Absolutely. So I know as the country celebrates it, we're going to celebrate it in September, but we're trying to bring awareness every month. But just to give you a little bit about my story, I was diagnosed in 2019. Praise God, I'm cancer-free right now. Within that journey, I didn't have any symptoms or anything like that. I normally, yearly, I have my annual physicals. Long as you're meeting those margins of I'm greater than this, less than this, I'm between these metrics, that you're good to go. I found out that my general practitioner had, his office had called me and said that, hey, you need to go see a urologist. My numbers had moved outside of that 0 to 4 range for our prostate. And so he referred me to the urologist. At that time, I went to the urologist. They wanted to do a biopsy. At that time, they said they test 12 samples and 5 out of the 12 came back cancerous. And it was within my whole prostate area. So I decided at that time, my wife and I, we had the hard conversation. We prayed about it, and I decided to have the surgery. I just felt like just to get the cancer up out of me was the best for me and my health, and being a younger man, I felt like I would bounce back from this part of my testimony. So that's pretty much my story. And then through that, I also started a support group for men out here in Atlanta, the metropolitan Atlanta community. We started out with 4 gentlemen. I think we're at 55 now. Gentlemen from all different backgrounds. I think our youngest guy is 41 and our oldest guy is in his 80s. So it's very diverse. But this is very a disease that's really driving hard in our Black and brown communities. You're talking about 1 out of 6 men. And I was listening to the show earlier, and you're talking about eating healthier, that is a good thing, man. We need to look at our eating habits. But I think with prostate cancer, I think what we don't do as men, as a lot of us don't go to the doctor. Early detection really is the key for prostate cancer. But for Black men, we don't even know our family histories when it comes to healthcare. You know what I'm saying? So that's huge when you're talking about, and for me, my father had it, my grandfather on my mother's side had it, and my stepfather. These were 3 men that were influential in my life, all different aspects, and neither one of them talked to me about their prostate cancer journey. And the elephant in the room is that it's going to affect your sexual function. So I think that's the hardest part when we're talking about men and their sexual function and having those conversations. And a lot of us, you know, when we come up as young men, a lot of things are predicated on getting an erection because we feel like we're in control of that part of our body. And that kind of, I don't know, kind of validates who we are as men. And that's a lie. So therefore, I think a lot of men don't talk about it, whether you're in the corporate environment, whether the sporting environment, or even in our homes. Which really what I'm passionate about now is not just talking about it at the diagnosis, but talking to our men as little boys, you know what I'm saying? Talking about our health, going to the doctor. Because we go when we playing sports, right? We're checking off the boxes to play sports or go fishing or hunting or getting a job. So I remember back in the day, you know, looking in the shower and, you know, we had those little placards up in the shower. You know, the women had their breast cancer, how they, you know, teaching the girls how to do their breast exams. If it don't smell right, don't act right. It's funny they have that conversation, but for men, we don't have that conversation. We don't talk about it. So I think that's part of the dynamics of the prostate cancer because you're going to be dealing with the sexual function to get an erection, and men just shut down. So that's kind of what my journey is. And yes, I'm having an event next month here in Atlanta, September 10th. We're going to be doing a prostate cancer awareness walk, family event. It's free. And yeah, man, I'm just excited what God's got me doing. So,
well, I'm happy to see, you know, I've seen your journey. I've seen when you know, were down, when you had to have the surgery, you know, we was all praying for you and everything that has come from that now. And I'm sure you can say the same thing since I've been back in New York. You've seen, like, you know, we've both come a long way from where we used to be. I know you was talking to me. You said you had bumped into or you met Al Roker. He had the same situation. Did he have a similar situation or something like that he dealt with or something? Or
yeah, it was a family member connected us. Knew his brother, and his brother connected us, and I saw his interview about prostate cancer. So we had some brief conversations about his story and my story, and trying to collaborate. You know, he's a very busy man. I get it. Like I tell anybody, to me, this is not a celebrity thing.
Right.
It's not about famous people. Really about saving lives and about education, about really having a real conversation, like I said, not surface conversation, and just you know, just being able to let brothers know that, hey, you're not alone in this struggle. So yeah.
Who did you bring with you today?
I don't know who's in the room. I invited three guys. I invited three guys from my.
I see something say Spellman M.
Yeah, Spellman. And you know, okay. Spellman's from New Row.
Oh, okay.
He's from New Row, so he's in my support group. If he's in the building, what's up, Spell?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Welcome, Spellman. Welcome, brother.
914 the building, and people don't know David's from New Rochelle too. Like David's from New Rochelle, so we got 914 in the building.
Yes.
So, talk about what. Well, David, do you have any questions first?
I just wanted to. I just want to congratulate David for creating safe places for Black men to come and talk about prostate cancer, you know, and talk about health and wellness in general, but specifically to discuss prostate cancer. I know AJ, you know, I wrote an article in Black Westchester that, you know, I asked a question: why are Black men invisible and missing from the national healthcare agenda? And we do not have those type of national advocates when it comes to Black men's health, right? So we talk a lot about women's health, right? They have magazines, they have everything, you know, but nobody is sounding the alarm on Black men. And, you know, in the article, I said that, you know, we have the lowest life expectancy rate at 72.2 years, right? And when it comes to prostate cancer, the incident rates are 73% higher in Black men than white men. Absolutely. And we're 37% of all the new cases. So, you know, if that doesn't sound of alarm, and just like I said on the earlier section, you know, when we talk about Black Lives Matter, that's great, right? But we're not addressing the need to talk about Black men's health should matter, because, you know, we're dying more of chronic illnesses, of cancer, than we are being shot by racist white cops every year. But we don't have that conversation. And brother, I commend you for having that conversation down there in Atlanta. And I think we have to really start forming, you know, a network to talk about it, because when you, like you said, when you have, you know, when you have prostate cancer, it also affects your mental health, you know, because, you know, you're messing with an area that's very sensitive to men, you know, and how we associate manhood.
Yes.
So, you know, and those are the issues that, you know, we have to address, man. And we have to educate our young men, and we have to educate women on what we go through, you know, because I don't think, just like they say we don't understand when they're going through menopause, right? Women don't understand when we're dealing with things like this, you know, and I think we just have to keep fostering this conversation. And thank you for doing that, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you. And like I say, man, it's not just a physical, it's actually a physical, but like you just say, it's your mental awareness as well, but your spiritual.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, to me, it's like a 3-prong attack. And I'm thankful for a great support system. You know, my wife has been my rock in this process, you know, with her faith in God, man, has really, you know, helped me, not just help me to be stronger for my own battle, but for others, and to be inspired to fight for others and be a voice for others as well. So, yeah, I'm just thankful, man.
I just want to say, and I want to ask you, man, a question. I want to, you know, we talk about building our communities up, and we talk about, you know, a healthy. We can't have a healthy community if you don't have healthy men and boys, Black men and boys. You can't have, and we need to understand that if we have unhealthy men and boys in our community, we won't never have a healthy community, a thriving community. So, you know, that's another reason we bring this up. And like I said, you know, Damon has been pushing the issue, so we've been trying to do more of these health and wellness conversations, because we say we deal with everything that faces the Black community. This is a big threat to the Black community. So I definitely wanted to have you on. I'm glad that you could make it. My brother Spellman, what made you become part of the movement? Did you have a testimony about it too, or what?
Yes, I have a testimony. As Brother David said, I found out that I had prostate cancer in 2019. I did not know much about prostate, and as long as I've been in school, we've never learned about prostate at all. So my father, unfortunately, my father is no longer with us, but I remember he was talking about prostate, but he didn't go into details with me as to what it is, as to, you know, what it does for a man, the importance of it for a man, and how to take care of it. So I was kind of like just blank, but my father was going through some prostate cancer issues himself. His was like, excuse me, his was like what's called borderline prostate. So when he got checked, they told him that he was like borderline. He didn't have the cancer wasn't where it's supposed to be, where it should have been, and not where it's supposed to be. So it's kind of like in the middle. And excuse my meaning, but that, as you can see, as to how, I'm not going to say I'm clueless, but the thing is, there's so much about prostate cancer that we as men, it doesn't matter the genre, of our culture, of our skin. We don't know how to go about taking care of our prostate. So that was me. I was kind of clueless. So when I found out that I had 2 small cancer dots on my prostate after my biopsy, I told my doctor this, and I said, I need for you, to start checking my prostate. And the first time, and I'm going to go back a little bit. The first time I asked my doctor to check my prostate, I was about 45 years old. I'm 54 now. But when I was 45, I told my doctor, I told her, I need for you to check my prostate. Well, you're too young. You're not age 50 yet. I said, well, I just found out that my father has prostate cancer, and I need to make sure that I'm not, gonna, have prostate cancer in my future years. So we were like going back and forth. She and I, we were going back and forth. So I did, technically force her to check my prostate. She said that your prostate was fine. So I said, from here on out, when I do my physical with you, up until I reach age 50, I like for you to check my prostate, because the thing is, again, I still don't know what and all entail to have a healthy prostate. I didn't even know where prostate was located. Okay. Now, the thing is, we all know where prostate, for the men knows where the prostate is, because the thing is, we don't like how it's done, how it's performed on us by our doctor. We feel like it's embarrassing. Yes, technically it's embarrassing because the way how they have to go check it. But we still want to know where we stand. Now, as you know, when you go to the hospital, when you go to your doctor's going to ask you all kinds of stuff. Now, with the urologist, here's the questions that you ask. When you go to the bathroom, do you have any burning sensation in your urine? My answer is no. When you go to the bathroom, do you just, your body, is your mind and body telling you that you got to go pee? And when you try to pee, you have problems straining that pee out? For me, the answer is no, because mine was flowing. Okay. If you're married or you're in a relationship, okay, do you have any problems, having an erection? No, I had no problems with erection. I have no problems, with stamina. It's just like a lot of questions that, you ask. Yes, to a man, it's like, well, why am I telling you all of this? But the thing is, we men we're not, how can I put it? We're not adapted from being boys to men. We're not adapted to show emotions, ask a lot of questions. That's our problem. That's problem that I feel as though that we were never taught that by our fathers, by our grandfathers, even by our uncles, before us, because they feel as though is that we're the strong force, we're like Superman, Batman and all that, we're the superheroes, to everybody else. But the thing is, as we mature, things start to like roll back, because the thing is, now we're in a situation that's like, okay, I don't know how to explain this, because the thing is, it was never taught to me at a young age. That's how I felt about prostate. Now, for me, when I found this out, I said, okay, I got some choices I have to make. But unfortunately, by the time that I received that news, my father was already, passed on. So I had to rely on my mother, because it was my mother that took care of my father during the time of the prostate. So I had to ask her a lot of questions. How embarrassing it wasn't embarrassing for me, because the thing that she knows, I knew from my heart that she would know the information, because she was there, she witnessed it, she listened to a lot of information that the urologist was explaining to my father. So I figured with her, she could help me out. So because I'm a truck driver, I said to myself, I'm going to have a problem trying to do chemo, because the thing is, with chemo, you have to be in there present every single day. And because I'm a truck driver and I'm gone away from home, I said to myself, well, I'm young. I know I have many miles of my life, to go through. I'm going to just go ahead and just have my prostate removed. That way, I know in my heart that I will save my life by getting rid of this cancer. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. I chose the option to have my prostate removed. So the night before my surgery, I was laying there in that hospital bed, and I was saying to myself, I asked God, I said, God, did I make the right choice? And and I'm just listening to what God is telling me. And, I told God, I said, well, the reason why I'm making this choice is because of the fact that, because I'm away from home and I have to protect myself. But inside, I felt like I might have made the wrong decision, but I prayed about it. And then I got on my Facebook page and I, read, left a message to all my prayer warriors. And I said, hey, this is your boy Spellman. I just want to let you know that I'm, in the hospital, for prostate surgery. All I just ask for you to do is just keep me in your prayers and hope, I'm, kind of nervous. Just keep me in your prayers. And after that, I turned the phone off and went ahead, just laid there until it was time for my surgery. The next morning when I woke up, I got my phone. I had over 700 messages on my phone. And as I'm looking at the names of everybody, I'm talking family, friends, people that I know, people I don't know. The first person that came to me is your cousin, David Moffett. AJ, my relationship with your cousin, David Moffett, is as follows. He's my cousin's best friend, Ronnie Amazon. That's how I met David. So David reached out to me just by text, and he said, hey, here's my phone number. Call me right now. When I called him, it was like the biggest weight that came off my whole entire body. Because a true friend of mine, even though we didn't start off as childhood friends, we started as friends just from a link to my own cousin. So he told me his story, and I felt a lot better. And since that point, we've been back and forth. He's been my guidance. He's been my counselor, letting me know like his experience, telling me you're going to go through a lot. Just listen to me and I'm going to get you there. And here I am to this day, still, for the several months, and I'm going to lead into this. For the several months, I've been cancer free. But within the last 2 months, my urologist told me that my cancer is coming back just a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm still good. I mean, I'm still good. I don't let that bother me. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm in Mount Vernon. I live in Mount Vernon, and I got motorcycles and dirt bikes riding by, so I keep muting myself so y'all don't hear all that. What was that? A couple of questions came to mind. Like you said, you had your prostate removed. And again, yes. I don't understand a lot of things about this. So you can live without your prostate. That's one.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And that doesn't affect, without your prostate, it doesn't affect your manhood.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah, it does, brother. It does. Okay. It does. And we ain't even gonna say manhood. It just affects that sexual organ. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay.
You know it doesn't affect your manhood because you more than that.
No, absolutely.
You have more value than
you know where I was going with that. Yeah, because
I know where you was going.
I'm sure other people want to know, and I want to know. So yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, as men, we want to make sure that our manhood, is at 100%. But because of this prostate and what I did, I'm still a man, no matter what.
That's right.
I'm still a man.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm not worried about my manhood, getting back. It's gonna get back by the help of God. God is showering over me to allow my body to heal first.
That's right.
Right.
And it takes time, and that's what I explain to men. Don't worry about your man. Don't worry about the sex and all that stuff. Heal your body first. It's just like with a woman. It's just like with women with breast cancer. You don't hear a woman telling, saying, "Well, I can't wait, for a man to massage my breasts and all that stuff." And I don't mean to be blunt or anything.
Right.
But you don't hear that from a woman.
Right.
I've never heard a woman say that, oh, I can't wait, like for my breast, like to be back where it needs to be, like how we talking about, like we can't wait for our manhood to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Get that out of your mind. This is your time to heal your body, because when you have your prostate removed, everything is torn apart down below.
Mm.
Nerves, everything, the feeling, everything is gone. And I remember my urologist, was talking about, like, once you have this operation, you're gonna have ED. You're gonna be ED, erectile dysfunction. You're gonna have erectile dysfunction. So he explained to me that I'm gonna see to it that it's not gonna be as bad. I'm gonna make sure that you have at least 30% out of 100. Okay. Once he said that, I'm like, well, all right. Right now, I'm not in a relationship. I'm not married. I was divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going to put everything in God's hands. I know God is telling me, all right, This is going to be your time to heal your body. Let me heal you. So by the time God is ready for me to have a relationship, I should be already healed by that time. Now, that's through God, not through me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell men, stop worrying about your manhood.
Mm-hmm.
Just because a doctor tells you that, you have prostate cancer. Because that's all you're doing. You're messing your mind up, and you're not allowing your body to understand, what it's going through. So right now, I'm able to have erections, but not the normal way. It takes a little bit. It takes a little bit for me to have an erection. And what I mean by that is I have to be, for me personally, I have to be stimulated.
Exactly.
Yep.
In order to sustain that erection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now,
okay, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
Once I have that stimulation, then yes, it depends with my body how long how long the erection is gonna last. But that's where I'm at right now. So I do have some erection. It comes and go, but as long as I know, like, my body is stimulated, then the erection is gonna prolong, for the length of time.
A lot of people, again, we don't have these conversations, and we don't have these spaces to have this conversation.
Exactly.
And one of the listeners said, "Thank you, gentlemen, for being open about your conditions and its side effects." Now, I wanted to get to the point where you did say 50, which is the answer to one question. When should you start getting your prostate checked? After you get to a certain age, and I want y'all to speak on that.
To be honest, right now, as David said earlier, we have one person in our group. He's 41.
Mm-hmm.
When he told us his age, believe me, we were like, "Oh my God!"
Mm.
Yeah. So if you definitely have a family history, because I think the target age for men, they were looking at around 50-ish to get tested. But especially as Black men, a lot of us don't know our family history, so there's a question mark. So some of the biggest things I learned in this journey is that we have to be better advocates for ourselves with our own healthcare, if we have healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And we just need to be able to have those conversations with our doctor, because not every doctor will do a PSA exam. They are done now through a simple blood test, but the older way is doing it is, the doctor puts his finger in your anus, right? A lot of men are gonna shy away from that. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I felt like I was violated, dude.
Yeah, you feel like you were. Yeah,
I walked out of there like I was violated. Like, dude, yo, dude, I don't know you like that. Like, I'll be honest.
Absolutely. But these are the things. These are the stereotypes that keep a lot of us, from having these earlier detections in reference to this disease. And I would say we need to probably advocate for ourselves at an earlier detection, maybe in our earlier 40s than 50s, because most of us in the group are 50, right? So there's something going on right there, probably most likely with all of us, mostly. So I think we need to move that probably 10 years up. That's just my personal opinion, but definitely if you have a family history, I would say yes, you need to tell your doctor, yes, this is a family history. I need to have my PSA. And not all doctors will test your PSA in an annual physical. So you have to make sure you're also telling your physician, hey, I need to make sure whether you're doing it the old school way with the finger in the butt or they're doing the blood test. But I would say just to make sure you're being covered, have them do both. You know, it just protects you better. So
now, yeah, again, that whole finger thing, I thought my doctor looked like he was enjoying it too much. I could lie. I felt violated, like, dude, like, I really felt bad. But of course, ironically, I didn't have these conversations with my dad. It was my sister pushing me to get this.
Yes, so
pushing me, and Damon, when she don't, and when I said, yeah, I'm gonna get it done. She called Patty, Damon. My sister called Patty to make my doctor's appointment. So Patty got on the phone, my homegirl, and made an appointment, and so said I would get checked out. She was like, I'm gonna make sure you get checked out. So so I say that to say, we need our sisters, our women, whether they're wives, our girlfriends, our sisters, we need them to encourage us as well, because sometimes we need that proverbial kick in the butt to get these things done. I'm speaking personally, you know what I'm saying? Like I've needed that a few times. So, and we need our women to you say you want to be supportive, you love us and all that. That's one thing that you can do for us to help and then that support means a lot. You know what I'm saying? And talk about, I know they tell women with breast cancer and stuff, early detection is a key. You were speaking about that. Talk about early detection, why that's important.
Yeah, it's going to save your life, AJ. And I just want to tackle just one point you said. Yeah, it's good to get affirmation from our wives, our moms, our friends that are put. But let's just be honest, man. As men, we need to navigate. Need to navigate differently. It's easy for us to say, yo, let's go get a beer, let's go to the game, and we all in, right? So why shouldn't I be the one, saying, yo, bro, you need to go to the doctor? Having that hard conversation, like, look, stop playing. You need to go to the doctor. We need to have those hard conversations. And that, I think that's what's going to break what we do, because we're able to say, hey, let's go get a drink. Let's go to the game. It's quick. It's let's break some bread. But we will not have those, I want to say, fruitful or rootful conversations. We want to stay on the surface level. And I think as men, we have to be accountable to one another. We have to hold that. We have to hold each other accountable, especially when it comes to our health, because a lot of times we're not able to, like you say, from when we're little young shorties or whatever, we're not told to discuss our feelings and our emotions, right? So when you get these diagnoses or we come to these crossroads, we don't know how to effectively communicate our feelings or our emotions, which a lot of times we're going to internalize, and then we're just not going to do nothing. It's going to be kind of like a flight to freeze moment.
So what you didn't know, David, so I went to the hospital a couple of years ago. It was because of this brother here. He was like, yo, I'm taking you to the hospital.
That's right.
Like he literally told me, he was like, yo, I was breathing heavy. Like you can kind of hear me. We're doing a radio show. You can hear me breathing. Even when I wasn't talking, you can still hear me, because I had one or two people that noticed it. And he was like, no, I'm taking you to the doctor. He took me to the hospital. He said, you're going. You understand what I'm saying? It was like, he didn't ask me if I wanted to go. He was like, no, I'm taking you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's been, and I have to say that God blessed me with some strong brothers and support system around me. Like the sister that was on here earlier, she's kind of like my accountability partner when I had to change my diet. And she encourages me. She sends me certain foods, and she'll make some stuff and make some juices and stuff and get them to try out, some vegan options. I'm not ready to make the whole switch yet, but she stays on me. What have you been eating? She's kind of like an accountability partner food wise. You know what I'm saying? So, and I honestly, I needed all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm not going to move like that. So when you said that, like I have a brother like that in Damon who.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And and a lot of times we're looking at the end result, like Spellman said. Everybody's looking to that full erection, getting that full erection.
Right.
Like in the earlier conversation, we were talking about, hey man, you just need to stop. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I believe what God is trying to really teach us, man, we really have to learn those lessons in the process, whatever the process is. So even if it's like, hey, today I ate a salad opposed to that steak or McDonald's or whatever it may have been, we have to also celebrate those small victories. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we tear each other down, or we just beat ourselves up. And we need to also, when we do something positive, and we're holding somebody accountable, we need to also let each other know that, hey, man, that's a victory. It might be a small victory, but it's a victory. And as Black men, we definitely need to celebrate each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And just so you know, I'm not exaggerating. One of my listeners just said, I remember that show when you was having breathing difficulties. Like, they was like, you can hear me. Like, literally, I'm sitting there and I'm not saying that, but you can still hear me breathing on the mic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really bad. Like, and it had got bad where, like, I almost couldn't, like, walk a block, like, without being winded. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, you know, and he was like, nah, my brother, I'm taking you to the hospital. I'm taking you to the hospital. Not do you want to go? I'm taking you to the hospital. So we did the show, and then we went to the hospital afterwards. Like, yo, word. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Damon. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for that.
Yeah. We gotta keep him around, brother. We gotta be our brother's keeper.
Yes, amen. Amen to that.
I'm sorry. I want to add this. Here's another here. Has nothing to do with skin color, but it has to do with occupation. I'm a truck driver. I did not know until I did my own research that truck drivers, over-the-road truck drivers, are prone to have prostate cancer. There are truck drivers that are out there who don't even know that they have prostate cancer.
And what was it, brother? I excuse me for interrupting.
No.
But what is the reason that truck drivers have a higher rate of or prone to get? Was there like a specific reason?
What I'm learning is as follows. Number one, eating habit. Number two, you're sitting down. The main problem is you're sitting down in a sitting position for hours. Number three, during a long day or long night, you're not exercising enough.
That, you know, I'm fighting that now. I sit at a computer all day. And I went and got this Fitbit, right? One of the things it does to fight sedentary, I think that's what it's called. It makes you walk a minimum of 250 steps an hour. So like I could be sitting at the computer for 2 and 3 hours without moving, and it'll beep 10 minutes before the hour's over and be like, it'll tell you how many steps you did or that you haven't moved to encourage you to get up and at least do 250 steps before. You understand what I'm saying? And in my research, just those 250 steps an hour fights sedentary for sitting in, from you sitting down too long, which is a real thing that I didn't know about either. And eating habits also, I work overnight. Like I'm working, most people that know me, I'm 24/7. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like I could be going and we could have some big stories and I could be going and it'd be like, yo, it's 7:40, like now 7:44. It's 7:44, man. I didn't eat. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, so then, and the later it is, especially if you're going to order something, the choices to order are now just fast food type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a diner that makes some great steamed vegetables and stuff like that. But those places close at a certain time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the later it gets, the choices are slim. And then, but you have to eat something. So that's what, and I'm sure you're on the go. So, you know what I'm saying? You stop at wherever you stop at to get something to eat. So that's something that I had to, so I physically have to make myself like sometimes just get up and walk around the block just for the hell of it. Like just to walk. And I have to I have to make myself do that because I could sit here, like the show started at 6. So I've been sitting on this computer since 2:50. Since 6:50. 5:30. You know what I'm saying? I've been sitting here. But that's not normal. I could be at the computer for like 4 or 5 hours, just like straight, just like not moving, like I'm here. And I realized that you have to do your own research. You have to look into it. One of the things I learned with everything, we look up stuff we want to look up. Mm-hmm. You know, you see a story on LeBron, you go reach, you gonna look up his stats, and you're gonna look up, you know, the year he won the championship, and we're gonna look up you know, see a story on a certain celebrity, you're gonna look up the date when they won the Oscar and what year their TV show was, and you know what's when your favorite song came out. But this same stuff is the same accessible with our phones now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I started doing research and I started asking questions, and like politics, because I didn't know politics much before we started this 8 years ago. Every show and every story I do, I learn something. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why we're doing some of these shows. I'm learning a lot of this. I've learned a lot from today's show alone. You know what I'm saying? From both segments. You know what I'm saying? So I know if I don't know, there's a lot of brothers out there that don't know. There's a lot of our people that don't know. So that's why we started Black Westchester, to kind of get more information out there. And as you see, you know, my style of things, I share as much as the guests do sometimes. I think that's important. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I took people through my physical journey. You know, I had lost X amount of weight, how I was doing with that and everything. I was sharing that with people, and I found out there are other people talking about I inspired them to start getting the stuff look into. I inspired them to realize they had to do some stuff. There's other writers be like, yeah, I got to start getting up and walking around the block too. You know what I'm saying? But because of having these conversations and you know, like I said, I got my brother Damon, you know, he's all in the health and wellness. And then I got a sister, Brenda, checking on me on what I'm eating. So, you know, I'm not where I need to be. I'm still a work in progress, but I have people all around me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I'm not even gonna front like I'm every day, all day on it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes with your food, it's got to be like a meal by meal decision. Sometimes, like, you know, like I know, seriously, I walk to the store and I want to, you know, like I love wild cherry Pepsi. And I walk to the store and I got to make a decision to get 100% juice or water instead of Pepsi. And that one decision, but you got to keep making these decisions over and over all day, and until it becomes habit. So, you know, I'm sharing that because I know other people are going through that as well. So, and it's very important. Yeah.
And I have one more thing for Mr. Damon. With my occupation. What causes it is the bouncing, the buoyancy. You know, like as you're driving, you're constantly bouncing, and that has an impact, you know, around the prostate area too.
Oh,
and, you know, I had to research that too, and also too, I don't hear too much about it from like bus drivers, and I'm talking about like the Greyhound bus drivers,
right?
Because I don't have anybody that I know who are bus drivers,
right?
As a truck driver, because you're constantly bouncing up and down. That too can create a prostate.
Interesting. And you know, because I was because I'm a correction officer, and we've been arguing about the type of chairs that they have at my job, and I was, you know, and I was wondering, because I wanted to address that. I wanted to look into that because I haven't actually checked the percentage of correction officers with prostate cancer, because we sit down a lot.
Yes.
You know, we sit down in chairs that a lot of chairs shouldn't even, they're not even built for someone sitting on them for 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I was looking into seeing how that affects people's prostate health, you know, and that's why I wanted to ask the question, like, what was, you know, like once you said, you know, truck drivers, I know y'all sit all the time. So yes. I was wondering that, and that's something that I'm going to continue to look into to actually address that and actually see.
No, yeah, because again, it's learning. I'm still learning.
Right, absolutely. But
that's a good point, Damien, because I you know, I was in corrections and law enforcement myself, and those chairs are not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? At all. That you're sitting on. And then when you got additional weight on with your gear, if you're wearing a belt, vest, all of that, that's just added weight to you. You know what I'm saying, to that area. So yeah, yes, exactly. But if we could, you know, I think this is part of it. This is part of the awareness, just being able to talk about it and have a conversation. You know, because a lot of times we just don't. You know, if our dads don't, if our fathers, our godfathers, our uncles, whatever men in our lives, we just don't have those conversations, or we just don't know our family history. And I think for us
Exactly.
as a people, those are some of the self-inflicted things that we have the ability to change those dynamics.
Exactly.
And again, like providing safe places, like safe spaces like this for
Yeah.
us to openly have this conversation. Because several people have mentioned, thank you, man, for sharing this important health issue. Thank you for being open, you know, what you're dealing with. So, you know, there's a bunch of people watching. And I think it's important not only for our brothers, but for our sisters, our women in our community, to hear these conversations, to kind of get somewhat of a better understanding on what we go through. Because, you know, again, you know, a lot of us are taught, you know, David, you don't show no fear. You straight, you know, you help everybody else with their issues, but you don't never let them see you sweat. You don't never, you know what I'm saying? So we go through things in silence sometimes.
Yeah.
And until we got to go to a doctor and the doctor says we got this or that and that, you know what I'm saying? There's never a discussion. You know what I'm saying? We
Yes.
You know, and we need to change that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there anything I didn't ask y'all that y'all want people to know about prostate cancer awareness, about the walk, about how if a brother's watching this now, I know you said you got a support group. How do they follow your group? Is there a website, social media? How do they get in touch?
I'm on Facebook, David B. Moffett on Facebook, on Instagram, Moff920. We do a support group once a month. Like I tell the guys, if one guy comes in, I'm going to open the doors. I really believe that our greatest strength is in our vulnerabilities. That is like my main theme for men. I think we all come together for prostate cancer, but the conversations also lead out to other conversations that are healthy, you know, that help all men. The event, like I said, is September 10th here in Atlanta, Marietta, Georgia. We're looking to have right now, I believe 200 to 300 people. This is our first one. We're going to grow them out every year. God put it on my heart to do this. I'm just going to be very transparent and authentic with you. And I'm just being obedient to the assignment and to the purpose.
Right.
And he's opening doors that I would never imagine speaking to people. I would never imagine speaking to physicians, speaking to nurse navigators in the healthcare systems here in Georgia. And it's crazy because, you know, a lot of times when we look at physicians as little kids, we're taught that they know everything. You know, why question them? You know, and those are false pretenses. Like, yo, if your doctor's not doing what you want, fire him. Go to the next one.
Exactly.
Go and get the best healthcare that you can. Be your best advocate. And one thing I learned since this cancer journey was to ask questions, not just sit there and be like, okay, I'm between all those metrics like we spoke about earlier, I'm good to go. But to really, why is this? Why not this? Why can't I do this? So there were some lessons learned on my part as well that I can do better, and also speak to my loved ones about these same situations. So we're going to continue to be a voice, advocate for men. And like you said, AJ, to our support systems as well. I have a great one, but not everybody has a good support system. Not everybody has good access to healthcare, you know? So we have to be empathetic. We have to be sensitive to those that don't have those particular things in place for them. And just be more sensitive to each other, you know, and be more compassionate to each other, you know, because everybody has a different journey. But as men, we definitely need to navigate differently about our healthcare, about how, you know, we talk about our issues. And I think prostate cancer is probably one of the ones for me that has allowed me to do that. I'm also a combat vet, so I deal with PTSD, so that kind of like going hand in hand with me. So I started a veteran support group. I also started a breast cancer and women with cancer support group. So and I'm learning so much about different people's journeys. And so, yeah, man, just the conversation, start a conversation. You know, it doesn't have to be with a family member or close person. It could be with a stranger. You know, I'm sorry.
You know, one of the things you mentioned about the doctor, and we got to be open with that. I wasn't being satisfied with my doctor, what he was telling me, and I was telling Damon some of the stuff that I was going through. He said, "Oh no, I'm gonna take you to my doctor." And my doctor was closer. I could like walk, and I'm not driving these days. He said, "No, if I have to drive you to my doctor, like, and that's how I ended up going to his doctor." And but again, that's because I had that conversation with him. We have to do that. Secondly, I was saying, like my dad and your dad, who taught us a lot, never taught us about this stuff.
Nope.
So you're breaking the cycle and talking to little Dave, and you breaking the cycle and talking to Wayne's kids. You breaking that cycle.
Appreciate it.
No, I said, are you? I don't want you to.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, absolutely. I had to have the hard conversation with my son, not just my son, but my nephews, and talk to my friends' sons. This is something for men that we have to do. We have to hold these conversations because a lot of time we're like, "Hey, man, I'm not telling nobody my business." You know what I'm saying? Or we just a lot of times we just have surface conversations. I believe that's just my opinion, and we're really not going to know who we are, or you're really not going to have the supports that you need unless you're able to be vulnerable in whatever situation and just be real. We always talk about being 100 and real. Well, we need to be it.
One of the things you said is about talking to your nephews and talking to your friends' kids. Because my dad didn't have that kind of relationship with his father. My father didn't know how to talk to me about certain things. There were certain things I had to talk to your dad about.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It was like my dad didn't have his dad spend a lot of time with him. I learned how to play soccer and some sports stuff from your dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't my dad didn't want to do it. My dad didn't know to do it because that wasn't done with him and his brothers. You know what I'm saying? With his father. So it was like, we have to not, it's not just our kids. You know what I'm saying? Because you'd be like, "Oh, I'm handling my business. I'm telling my kids." But you said, "I'm telling my nephews and I'm telling my friends' sons." That I wanted to bring that out. That's very important.
Yeah, it's important. It takes a village, man. It takes a village, really. And a lot of times where we're connected under that umbrella, whether it's my son, he may hear it different from you or Damon or Spellman. He may be able to receive it differently.
Absolutely.
Than not from that father figure per se umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever dynamics y'all may have going on, it may be your barber, it may be, your coworker that's able to get the same message across, where they're able to receive it because they're not so tied into my pops don't know what he's talking about. It come from they were dinosaur age. They don't understand what I'm going through.
But you had your son talk to me about music. Me and Roland.
Yeah.
You had us, me and Roland talk to him about music.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, we have to do that though. So
yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to I saw a comment. It says many doctors do not know about nutrition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, many doctors do not. They are taught a lot about. They're not taught. Well, yeah, and they're taught more about treating rather. Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And the second part was this: many doctors want to push medication or surgery as
right. That's why I think I always tell people, man, get a second opinion when dealing, especially dealing with cancer or anything that you're questioning the doctor. One thing about Dr. Rowe, he pushed the medications, man. Even when I was like, listen, I'm trying to get off those medications.
Man. He pushed them with me a little bit too. Yeah.
He was still pushing the medications. I'm like, dude, like you're not listening, man. So I just stopped taking, just had to do what I got to do. But I think, finding a medical doctor is one of the most hardest thing to do because, you want a medical doctor that's going to relate to you. You don't want a medical doctor that's going to be about just pushing medication. You want a medical doctor that's going to understand, holistically, if you believe in that, if that's the way you're going, and how to help you transition, right? Because a lot of times, we know the side effects of being on long-term medication. Mm-hmm. So if the patient is feeling like, listen, doc, help me transition off, and he's not willing to help you, tell you what diets to get or send you to a nutritionist or, or send you to a a vegan or vegetarian coach, different people that can help you transition off the medication. Get away from that doctor, right? And if you talk surgery, always get a second opinion. When you get ready to open up your body, and cut your body, and that has to be your decision and your decision to make, and as a patient, you have to educate yourself, man. This is the internet, man. You could find out everything, just Googling it, man, and just find out, you get the medication and put the medication in it, break down the whole medication, so we have to educate ourselves, man, and we got to be willing to be educated.
We also got to read those papers that come with our medication. Most of us don't read, because I just read that. I was like, towards this, and this. Well, damn, that's worse than the original.
You ever see those commercials? You watch it, be a bit of side effects, but you be like, wait a minute, like
might cause depression and death.
I'm going to get side effects.
That's right.
Yeah. I wanted to say real quick. So I remember what it was with me switching the doctor. I had a gout issue, and it only flared up every now and then. And my doctor knew that. He took me off the gout medicine and gave me an additional blood pressure medicine. So then I had a gout flare up that usually lasts 2 or 3 days for like 33 and a half days. Like it was just nonsense. So I went to a foot doctor, and he said, whoever that doctor that told you that need not to be a doctor no more, because that medication that he gave you is not good for anybody who has gout. I told Damon that, and he was like, no, I got a doctor for you. That's when he referred his doctor to me. But again, I had to have that conversation with him though. We Damon has a book I want to promote. I have a book too. Damon has a book, the first book, and the second book explains eating healthy, and it breaks down what all the fruits are for. But yes, that's one right here. And the power benefits
of detox and cleansing and eating clean.
Right. Okay. And it breaks down it'll take the fruit and it tells you what things this is for. And if you have these certain things or certain issues, what fruits and vegetables are good for.
Oh, no, that's this one, brother.
Oh, okay. I said he has two. He had two. Yeah.
Man, that's the juicing, eating clean and juicing to live. It gets I have about 75 to 100 recipes. And it addresses different ailments and what juices to drink to keep your body healthy and prevent illness and disease, man. We can't say I will never say it cure it, but I definitely will say it will help your body prevent it, and it will definitely help your body heal, right? Because when we're healing, whether it's mentally or physically, what we put on our body is definitely will help us heal, or it will hurt us.
Yes, because some medication just masks the situation and doesn't actually fix the situation.
Exactly. We want to.
Yes, just a Band-Aid.
So I wanted to uplift that, and everybody go get those two books.
Definitely. Can we order it off of Amazon?
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. I put my name in it, Damon K. Jones, and it should come up.
Okay.
And I have a new book. Black Westchester, the origin story, tells the whole story of how me and Damon came together and we formed this thing called Black Westchester. And the second part of the title is and how my faith was instrumental in this great experiment. Because we started with no money, and we kind of changed the political landscape of Westchester. Okay. And some of the surrounding areas, to the point that the New York City mayor, when he was running for election, came on our show, and you know what I'm saying, other people outside have come on our show, and I've had the lady who used to be from Georgia, I think she's the former mayor or something. She was checking out some of our issues online, and she was responding to me. So we started with nothing. It's how everybody can play their part. And this is I write, you know what I'm saying? And this is what we do. And, we fight for social justice and educating our people. And it's the story of how we started and built that. And it's in memoir form for me, some of the things I did previous in life that led me and prepared me to do this, that God was preparing me, I didn't even know, to do this. So it's a good story. Black Westchester, the origin story. It's also available on Amazon, or you can hit me, Mr. AJ Woodson, MrAJ Woodson at Gmail. pay Cash App or whatever, I get more if you buy it directly from me, but I'll send you back I'll mail you back an autographed copy as opposed to Amazon's just gonna send you a regular copy. So either way, everybody got that. I have a book signing for everybody in Westchester and Greenburgh next Saturday, the 20th, at Greenburgh Public Library. It's going to be an author talk Q&A. And then the next Saturday after that, Damon and we're having what we're calling like a book brunch at this Black-owned coffee shop in Yonkers, Bougie Brews. And we'll have a DJ, Kenny Chamberlain's DJing. And all y'all who know in Westchester know radio morning show Bob Marone. He's going to be interviewing us about our books, and we'll be out there talking about our books, selling and autographing our books. And that's on the 27th. I'm actually doing a library tour. I just talked to Riverfront Library in Yonkers and talking to New Rochelle Library and Pelham Library, trying to do a whole library tour. You know what I'm saying? So everybody look out for that. I want to give y'all a chance. Last words, Damon and Brother Spellman. I'll start with you, Spellman. Last words. Anything you want to add or?
For all you guys out there, again, get checked, whether you like it or not. If I can get checked every year and I'm a truck driver gone away from home, I make sure that I take care of my health because we only have one life and you don't want to go out when you could have, taken care of your life. So get checked.
One question for you. Are you still in Neuro or you in Georgia? Where you at?
I'm in Georgia, but I just heard your date. So I may come visit you over there.
Okay, because I was gonna say if you ever in the area, get my number from David. David, if you in Westchester, holler and we can link.
I will definitely pass the information.
Yeah. Last words, Damon. David. I'm mixing y'all two names up.
Hey man, my last words are, hey man, we just need to navigate differently, man. We just need to have these real conversations. I believe that's the beginning of our healing process. And I definitely want to give a big shout out to you and Damon for what you're doing. It's a blessing. I'm honored to be here with y'all. Y'all are awesome, man. Really.
Our last guest, Brenda L. Crump, she said the doctors told my husband he had to have open heart surgery. We went to Texas, a second opinion, Dr. Baxter Montgomery. My husband did not have to have open heart surgery. And then I think she even told about, by changing his diet, not eating meat and vegan and he through a nutritionist, he was healed of some of that stuff. He didn't have heart trouble. He didn't have the other things he had. He wasn't taking medication anymore, and it from a healthy lifestyle. So I wonder if you missed the first half of the show when I post this, go back and watch the first half of the show to hear that. Right. Damon, last words.
Nah, man, I want to thank all the guests, man. I want to thank y'all brothers for coming on. I think this was a great conversation. And I know I'm going to share with a couple of friends of mine that is dealing with prostate problems, and definitely to inspire them that, like this is something that they could get through too. So I really appreciate this show, man, and appreciate your brothers coming on, and Brother Spellman, appreciate you be open about your process, your process and going and healing and working on healing and dealing with it, man. I love you, brother, and thank you for sharing that with us. It was very heartfelt, man. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And David, I've already told you, I love you, cousin. Yo, if there's ever something you want to come on the show to address, just hit me. If there's ever anything you want to write for the website or on for the brothers on the website or in the newspaper, just let me know, send it to me, and I'll definitely put it out, so consider that an open door.
Okay.
To everybody else tuned in, you could be doing anything else, but you decide to ride with us, and we greatly, greatly appreciate it. This has been Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 343. It's our 8-year anniversary. We're trying to kick it off right by going back to these kind of conversations. The tagline of the show is real talk for the community. We try to get back to the real talk, and we're people before politics. And while you've seen a lot of politicians on, we need to get back to the people. So celebrating our 8-year anniversary, we wanted to kick it off with conversations like this. Thank you all for coming through. Until next week, peace.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
You are now tuned into the People Before Politics radio show. Brought to you by the good folks at
Black Westchester.